My name is Sean Burns. I am the organist here at First Baptist in Washington, D.C. I have been here for a little over 2 years. I provide all the music for all the services here. We have one service every Sunday, plus typical extras. Christmas, Easter, occasional concerts and recitals as they come. The instrument here is a 5-manual Austin, which in its current iteration has been here since 2012. Interestingly, it is one of only 2 5-manual instruments here in Washington, D.C. And the other one, incidentally, is only probably not even a half a mile away from us. And even more interestingly, I would say, both of those 5-manual instruments are connected by the same person. My predecessor here, Lon Schreiber, was the person who oversaw and curated the installation of the 5-manual instrument here that I have the privilege of playing every Sunday, and the 5-manual instrument I'm discussing that he oversaw the installation of at his previous position at National City, the church that houses the only other 5-manual instrument here in Washington, D.C. So my background with music starts with the piano, probably a typical story for a lot of organists. I started playing the piano when I was 9 years old, had an obsession with piano and probably classical music in particular from as long as I could remember. Nothing really kind of got me into classical music. People often ask that question, sort of what got you into it, and nothing for me really got me into it. I just was always sort of interested. I guess I was exposed to it in school and just naturally took to it. So I took piano lessons when I was 9 from my first piano teacher was literally just my friend's mom, and just took to it really quickly and progressed pretty naturally. I was a pretty obsessive player and practicer and just really ate it up. My background with organ came quite a bit later, and maybe that's where I diverged from some organists. I wish I could say that I had this incredible story where I grew up in some church with a fantastic tradition of organ music and choral music and all of that. My earliest exposure to organ and choral music did come when I was younger, but it actually didn't come through the church. It actually came through school. I was pretty active in my school's choir, and as part of my school's choir, we often sang in local churches. And that was honestly my earliest exposure to organ music, was meeting local organists in my area when I was growing up. But when I was younger, I honestly didn't think of myself as an organist, and I didn't necessarily super aspire to be one when I was really, really young. I kind of saw myself as a pianist, and I really liked being in choir, and I admired organists from afar. But when I was really, really young, think like in my early to mid-teens or so, I really looked at organ as something that was sort of mystical and impossible and not something that was within reach for me. So I actually did not come to the organ itself as a student until I was in my early 20s, when I decided I really wanted to branch out into this. And it was when I finally really started doing my own homework, plus getting a really good organ teacher, that I really kind of fell head over heels in love with the instrument. And it's funny, I initially started just thinking I wanted to become baseline proficient at the instrument, and that goal quickly morphed into I want to become as good at this as I possibly can. Just trying to become good at exercises quickly became I want to be able to play every hymn front to back in every possible way. I want to learn every Bach prelude and fugue. I want to learn every organ symphony. I want to learn every piece of literature that's out there. That's a goal that I have still not conquered, but I'm working on it every day. And so got proficient to a degree at the instrument throughout my 20s, and then got a master's degree at Westminster Choir College. I studied there with Alan Morrison, who was just the greatest teacher a person could possibly hope for. And held a couple of jobs. Came to DC about 4.5 years ago. When I first moved here, did not have a church job. Was subbing kind of catch as catch can. I will say that when you put yourself on a sub list in a town like this, your phone rings pretty regularly. So I was playing a lot, but not regularly anywhere. And after a couple of years of doing that, I kind of decided I wanted to play regularly again. And incidentally, I actually came to a recital here in this church in the fall of 2022 2022, I think it was. And it was to mark the retirement of Lon Schreiber, who is my predecessor here, who I talked about earlier. And that was the first time I heard this instrument in this space, and it completely bowled me over. And I will say at that time, I had no real designs of playing here. I was living not far away from this church at the time, and I saw advertisements for a recital here. And so I came to the recital here just because I wanted to hear a concert. It didn't go further than that. So I came to the concert here, heard the instrument, sort of fell in love with the instrument all over again, in a sense, and that kind of awakened in me this desire to sort of play regularly again. So that was in the fall of 2022, and the new year going into 2023, I had sort of set this goal for myself. I'm going to try to find a place to play regularly again, and so I looked up the job listings on the DC chapter of the AGO, and lo and behold, literally the very first job listing I saw was the one here, which sort of felt like a sign a little bit. So I put my materials together and applied to that job, or this job, I should say. And I guess the rest is history, because here I am. So that was, I guess, almost 3 years ago now that process was set in motion, but I've been playing here regularly for a little over 2 years now.
We are officially in the chambers. We begin with the tuba in a enclosed chamber on its own, separate from everything else. A couple of Walker speakers on the wall and also below us as well. All Austin built. All right, in front of us here we have different styles. We have the 1 3/5, 2-inch, 2 2/3, 4, and the 8-foot cornet, and then on the 5th mixture, and they're all up here. They're all solo. We have a couple different styles. We have some chimney flute style. We have cap top. We have full open. Clean. That's all I really gotta say. Clean. Austin keeps up with their organs, making them look nice and in tip-top shape. What can I say? And then next to the solo ranks here, we have the open diapason on its side. And my assumption would be they were too big to fit in the room, so they had to put them on their side. And then on the back wall is another wooden rank flipped upside down. And then to the right of that and to the left of these open solos ranks is a bunch of Walker equipment, 1103 speakers, and one of their bass speakers, bass cabinets. And this is on the very top of the right side of the chancel. So we are directly below where the console is below. And you can see the back sides of the facade here. Okay, we are next level down, and we're still in the section of the swell here. So we started in the solo, and now we're in the swell. So we have the diapason in the back, and that has 2 sets in the far back. We have a set of, I believe it is a 4-foot flute as well. And then falling back from that, we have a 2 sections of 16-foot bassoon. And then we have a couple more reeds here, trumpets and hattaboys in the front here. So all the reeds more or less up in the front here, and then flues and flutes in the back. Okay, on the other side, we have a string on the back, and then we have a couple diapasons, stop diapasons. We have a Nassard, and then we have a couple of the smaller ones, the 15th and Terrace as well. And that's all in the back here. And then we have a pretty big grand mixture on the front here. Also another 15th here. And then this, I believe, is the clarion in the center here. The reed here is the clarion, all on the swell. And then at the top, above here, Vox Humana. I guess if anything, Vox in a box. That's my knowledge. And then on the ceiling, we have I'm assuming it's a continuation of the stop diapason on the ceiling here. I guess they couldn't fit that down here, I guess, so they put it on the ceiling. And of course, Walker additions on the walls and ceiling as well. So we have 2 1103s on both sides on the wall. And then we have 4, to the best of what I can see here, 4 Walker 1103 is in the ceiling, and then we have a flywheel on the back side here. And that is this section of the chamber here. Okay, we're now in the choir section. So on this side, we have several principals on the back side here. We have 2 boards here of Holzgedeckt. And then we have the 4-foot octave, Spitzflute, another trumpet, and then the Krummhorn. And that's on the choir side. Another flywheel on the ceiling. And then on this side, we have another mixture rank. Once again. And then we have a terrace, another terrace. Open flute, 2 foot, another 15th Nassard, and a gems horn on the back. Once again, more Walker additions. There's 4 speakers in this chamber, 2 on the ceiling, 2 on the walls on both sides. We're now in the pedal division and also the great division at the same time. They're in the same side on the chancel. Behind us here is the smallest section of the pedal division. And right behind that is the largest rank that's in this organ. It is the contrabass, and it is a 64-foot stop. The largest I have ever seen in an organ. To be fair, it's kind of hard to find a 64-foot stop almost in most organs. You won't find them too quickly. Looking down below us, and we'll get a little closer look later on, is part of the great section. Almost kind of feels like walking on the boardwalk here. Austin has very nicely designed this place, so it's quite easy and manageable to work with for tuning purposes, as well as just being able to walk around in this area. So it's perfect. So we'll head this way towards the other section of this wonderful division. Continuing our tour in the pedal division, we have more reeds and flue stops. And on this part of the wall, also a continuation of the 64-foot stop, the smaller side of this. And then eventually, as we continue, there are more of this rank, and it's all here. This is actually the next size down of the same Pazan, and that's another, as you can guess, it's a reed as well. And that's actually the only one that's on this particular chest here. Very accessible. And then looking down below us here, more pipes. And we'll get closer to those in a little while as well. But great aerial shot. And on this sidewall here, we have the pedal wooden boarding on this side. We have more below as well. But it's all on this wall. Okay, we're in the lower level here, as you saw from looking over the railing on the upper level. This is the grate, and we have 2 reeds up front here. And then we have a bunch of flues as we go towards the back. And then we have a principal here, a board in here, actually 2 of them actually, and a gamba on the back side. A little gamba. We have a bunch of mixtures, anywhere from either, well, can be either multiples from either 3 to 5 ranks on these chests here. And then right here and here is the beginning of the 64 on the reed on this section here. And then obviously towards the back here, that's covering the back wall here, the other portion of the large 64 foot. All right, and then here is actually a mix between the Grape and the Renaissance divisions. So more reeds. Let's see, we're looking at least 4 or 5 ranks here of reeds. And then on the back side is just a bunch of flutes and flute stops on the back side, as kind of look over on this little section here, nicely laid out for some additional pipes, so you're gonna have to put them elsewhere. And then on the back side behind us here, more pipes. Yeah, you guessed it, more pipes. A bunch of mixtures, also on the Renaissance division as well. Pretty cool layout once again. So pretty much all the way across here, mixtures, just mixtures. Loads and loads of mixture. Okay, we have officially made it to the gallery organ. And this is on the nave side, on the back of the nave. This would be on the right side if you're looking from the chancel side. So we have good arrangement. Once again, pipes, boarding, principles, mixtures, etc. More on the wall here. That's this side of the organ. On the outside here, pedal on this side here. And we'll show you the one, actually a couple of stops on the other side. Over there. Okay, we're on the other side of the nave now. And back here is part of the pedal octave. So this is the pedal nave section. And then we have pipes above us as well, which is also part of the pedal. You can see the wood pedal pipe there. And then you can see some of the others up above here as well. And exact duplicate copy, at least what it seems to be like, is another wind chest and a blower, which is exactly like on the other side of the nave. Exact same thing. Just exact same blower, just a different one for this side. Okay, now we're in the chest here, and this is the gallery swell. To the best of my knowledge, no Walker additions to this. This is full pipe for the gallery. More pipes behind. And that is it for the organ. We have a war flute, octave, clarion, principal, Spitz flute, Viol Celeste, diapasons. We have the works in here. And then right outside of the door, as we go out here, is part of the rest of the pedal here that we have. And then the wooden pipes here as well. And that, my friends, completes the organ. That is all of it. So this is a massive organ, as you can see and by the video, and we are thankful that First Baptist allowed us to come in and to film this organ, so we are thankful for that. Huge shout out to all those that were involved from the staff here to make this possible. Wonderful organ. This would have been a shame if this wasn't documented, and it is officially now documented. So we can mark it off the list of organs that has been seen, and everybody has a chance to look through it. So anyway, my name is Stephen. Thanks so much for joining me and joining us, and Sean Burns, as we toured and learned about the history of this magnificent Austin organ from 2012. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.